There's a problem in the condo market, and I'm pretty sure this problem extends across all of Canada. But I'm going to visually show you this problem here in the Fraser Valley and a couple different cities, what exactly is happening, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. Okay. I'm going to start off by showing you, I guess we're going to go 2 bedrooms in Wally. Okay. This is the first chart I'm going to show you guys. Okay. And I'm going to go by size. So when we look at 2-bedroom condos in Wally, which is Surrey Central, 800 square feet or less, the sales ratio is 7.5% is what it is, which is trash. I mean, I think 12% is basically anything under 12 is buyer's market. So it is in a deep buyer's market. You look at inventory, it's obviously high, and you look at sales, not so great. Now I'm going to go back to the sales to actives, and I'm going to do what I believe is the ideal size for a 2-bedroom condo, which is probably 850 to 950, I think is the ideal range. And the reason why I like 950, even though I'm going to do this 850 to 1200 square feet, but the reason why I like 950 is once you get above 950, I've found that you get a lot of wasted space. You get like a foyer that's too big. You get a floor plan that isn't every single square footage of the home is usable. And the way stratas work is that you pay for that square footage. So like what you'll have a lot of times is like a 1990s condo that's 1200 square feet. The strata fee is like $600 a month. And it doesn't even feel that much bigger than a 900 square foot condo where every square footage of the plan is being properly utilized, because in the 1200 square foot plan, you're gonna have a whole bunch of wasted space, right? Usually the kitchen's like tucked away somewhere. The foyer is huge. There's like, the dining area is massive and like nobody even uses a dining table anymore, etc. So 850 to 950, in my opinion, is like the perfect range for a condo. Anyways, you're at 7.5% for condos under 800 square feet or less, specifically 2 bedrooms. You go to 850 to 1200 square feet, boom, it jumps up to 23%. Now, it's volatile, right? Like every month it's drastically changing, but there are months where it's up in seller's market territory, and you look at the less than 800 square feet, and it's been a completely dead market since, probably sometime back in 2024, May 2024, March 2024, call it, was like the last time this market had any legs whatsoever. So they're basically calling any 2-bed condo that's less than 800 square feet, that would be your micro condo. And if we look at the 1-beds for Surrey Central, you go to 499 square feet or less, that's at a 5% sales ratio. Go 5 to 600 square feet, it's at 12%. So again, the bigger condos are selling through a little bit better. Now, let's go look at Langley. Let's see if this is like a truth across, multiple markets, right? Well, 800 square feet or less, you're at 6.3%. Go to 850 to 1200, 23%. So it stands true again in Langley. Go to Maple Ridge. It's 16% for 850 to 1200, and again, 7% for 800 square feet or less. Now, I found this to be interesting. I'll show you guys this as well. 800 square feet or less, take note of the inventory, okay? If I go to 850 to 1200 square feet, well, the inventory almost looks like it's like normal. I don't know, again, why Surrey Central has this, but the overall inventory for a 2-bed condo that's at least 800 square feet historically actually looks like it might even be low when you compare it to the rest of history. Where you go to the 800 square feet or less, look at how high that is, right? So why is this happening? There's a couple reasons why this is happening. Reason A is if you go to Surrey Central and you look at all these high-rise condos, it is very rare to find a 2-bedroom that is over 800 square feet. Most of them are being built less than 800 square feet. So the problem with that is all of the new product, right? Everything that pre-sold 2020, 2021, 2022 that's completing now, that's also the most expensive product because it's brand new concrete. A lot of that product is less than 800 square feet. The 850 to 1200 square feet is going to be your older units, and we're not building them like we used to. That's just the truth of it, is that, these are still in relatively low supply in a dense city center, at least when we talk about Surrey Central. That's the first reason. The second reason why this is because who was buying the less than 800 square foot 2-bed condos was the investor, because the cap rates looked a lot better on them, because the rent that you would receive for a 750 square foot 2-bed in comparison to an 850 square foot 2-bed was almost identical, but you'd be paying far less for the 750 square foot 2-bed. Now, do I hate 750 square foot 2-beds? No. Some of them can make sense depending on what part of the market cycle you're buying them in. Like, I have clients who bought 750 square foot 2-beds and later sold them and made good money. Depending on the part of the market cycle you're buying them in, depending on the location, depending if they have a view, the builder, the blah, blah, depending on a whole bunch of things, they can be good. But generally speaking, I would rather you purchase a 2-bed condo that's at least 850 square feet or bigger, even if it's older. Even if it's like a 2005 build, I would probably buy that over a brand new 750 square foot 2-bed. Now, the other problem with specifically Surrey Central is like 750 to 800 square feet isn't that bad. Like, if you go in those floor plans, they can still be functional and livable. The problem with Surrey Central and a lot of these other like major metros that have built condos is that they're building them smaller than 750. There's a lot of condos that are like 730 square feet, 720, 700 flat, 680. You know, I've seen 2-bed condos that are like 675 square feet, 2-bed, 2-bath condos. And I don't think I've ever been in one of those, but I find it very hard to believe you're going to have a functional layout on anything under like 740 square feet would probably be like the bare minimum you need to have a functional 2-bedroom condo. But I would really like to stay above 750 just because that's a nice round psychological number for the next person who's going to buy the condo from you. But again, in a perfect world, I just wouldn't even want to buy one. I would want to be at minimum 800 square feet, but ideally 850 to 950 square feet. That's going to be your most functional layout. That's going to have your highest buyer pool when you go to sell it. Now, again, if you're buying a 2005 unit where the strata's trash, then and you only have to pick between that and the new one that's 750 square feet, I'm going to pick the new one that's 750 square feet. But I'm just saying, assuming they're not trash, they're both in the same location, and it's pick one or the other, I'm always going to go with the older one that has the 850 square feet plus, unless the floor plan is just a completely stupid layout, because they're in lower supply and they're going to resell easier in the future. Now, we got a problem with these condos because there's almost no buyer for them. There's 11 of them selling every month right now. This is in Surrey Central, and there's 147 of them on the market in the slow time of year. So it's going to take a long time to eat through this inventory, or it's going to have to be price reduced really, really fast to become really attractive very fast. But not only that, there's still more new inventory completing, and you know, the units didn't get any better after 2021, 2022. They actually started getting worse, right? The units started getting smaller into 2023, and again, even smaller into 2024. So, you know, we already have a bunch of this inventory that isn't moving now. There's probably a bunch more of it coming to market that's going to be roughly the same size in the next 2 years. And they are a tough sell at the moment. So that's the update on the condo market today. The micro condos are not moving very well. At one point, the micro 1-beds were moving better than the bigger 1-beds in specifically Surrey Central, but that seems to have flipped now and gone the other way. But if you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe. If you want to chat with me about buying or selling real estate in the Fraser Valley, link down in the description. Otherwise, I'm that Agent Kelly. I'm making moves to move you. Peace.